Be advised, the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
When I made my first trip to see how the assembly of this device actually looks, I was blown away. It's one thing to see the finished product in your hand, but to see all that coming together, it's magical.
During the mounting of components on the motherboard of the phone, a quick pick-and-place machine fastens crucial components on a printed circuit board at a stunning rate of 0.12 seconds per piece. That's faster than the blink of an eye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Cunanan. Now, on this show, we talk about everything under the sun, and tonight's topic is about manufacturing, which is quite overlooked by a lot of people, but is essential to economic stability and growth, and is responsible for providing us with the goods and products that we use in our daily lives. And joining us tonight to talk about manufacturing in the Philippines, trends, and possible opportunities for entrepreneurs are two distinguished gentlemen. We have with us Mr. Lyndon Alarcon, who is the president of the Production and Operations Management Association of the Philippines, along with his executive vice president, Norman Camongol. Greetings and welcome to Philippines Uncut, gents.
Good evening, buddy.
And it's up.
Thank you for the opportunity to guest us here in your program.
Our pleasure. In fact, Norman knows this very well because for the longest time we've been wanting to feature a show about manufacturing because, as I mentioned, this opening spiel, it's often overlooked.
Right.
When you talk about business in the Philippines, people, the area that people look at now mostly are the sunrise industry of BPOs.
Yes,
business
right.
processing,
Right.
business process outsourcing.
Right.
Manufacturing, people have, I don't know, a lot of people have sort of consigned it to the basement, saying that it's going to move to China anyway, etc., etc. But before we talk about that, let's talk about you gentlemen.
Right.
Let's start with Lyndon. What is, okay, tell us first about what you do professionally. What is your company?
Okay. Our company is RCM Manufacturing Incorporated, and which is now under Phillips. So we were acquired in 2008, and right now we're taking the brand Phillips. And we are under the Home Healthcare Solutions.
Okay.
And we are manufacturing medical nasal masks.
Okay.
And my current position there is a senior operations manager. And I'm handling the engineering, mostly engineering aspect of the operations, safety, and some aspects with regard to the strategic plans, strategic planning actually of the company. Okay. So this is being done every twice a year, and supporting my direct boss on this.
Okay. Now, when you say home health products,
Home health care, yeah.
home health care products,
Right.
what do you mean exactly?
Actually, we are under the healthcare sector, so this means that what we're producing are mostly for in the hospital. We have those imaging systems, but in our company, we're not doing that.
Like
The
ultrasound,
right?
Okay.
The MRI.
MRI, sure.
So that's
Your company makes these machines? No.
Yes, but
Really?
not our own company here in
Okay.
the Philippines.
Okay. Oh, it's the parent company.
Right,
It's a
right,
big
right.
business, huh?
Right, right. Here in the Philippines, what we're manufacturing is just nasal mask, and this is used for sleep apnea sufferers.
Yes. So in this big company,
Right.
this big multinational company, the operations in the Philippines are limited, or let's say just as you
Focused
said,
on the-
focused on
The nasal mask
nasal
manufacturing,
masks.
right?
Okay. And you have a sample here.
Right.
Can we show?
Uh-huh.
So just so the audience will have an idea what a nasal mask is.
Right. Okay. So this is one sample of our nasal mask. So we call this Profile Light, and again, this is worn by so the sleep apnea sufferers.
Okay.
Uh,
What is sleep apnea first?
okay.
Let's for lay people.
Yeah, right. Okay. Sleep apnea is the condition wherein our muscles,
Okay.
when we are sleeping, and we're relaxing. Okay. So that means that during this stage, our muscles here in the throat will collapse. Of course, we don't know that, right? While we were sleeping, and so this can only be diagnosed or can be determined once you will undergo the sleep lab
Okay.
or sleep
Okay.
diagnostics.
Okay.
And once you're proven to have one or a sufferer of sleep apnea,
yeah.
then that's the time that you have to get one machine.
And
We
this
call
is
that
the-
one CPAP machine,
Okay.
and that is connected to that machine through a hose.
Okay.
And this is being worn over your head,
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah. Okay, we can.
Right.
Yeah. So this thing goes over your mouth.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and for the entire night, for instance.
Right.
Okay.
So that's why you have to wear this.
Yeah.
And the machine will actually monitor your breathing and circulation.
What's the worst that can happen with sleep apnea?
Okay, the worst thing, if left undetected or if left untreated, it will lead to hypertension, cardiac arrhythmia,
Wow.
and other disorders, which would affect your lifestyle.
Now, I hate to ask silly questions. If
Right.
this thing only manifests itself when you're awake or asleep, how does one know if one is suffering from sleep apnea?
Okay, even if you have long hours of sleep, in daytime you still feel restless. You still feel as if you want to go to bed and sleep.
Tired.
You're
So
very
fatigue,
tired.
lethargy, that kind of thing. Then you could be suffering from sleep apnea.
Right.
All right. Now, your company makes this. All the components from this of this mask is made by the company, your company.
There is a component there that is not manufactured here, but is purchased from the U.S.
Yeah.
Right.
Is the demand for this kind of product? I mean, I hate to say this is the first time I've ever seen a mask like this. Not
Right.
that I go to too many hospitals, but is the demand worldwide for these sleep apnea machines or detecting machines
Right.
that big that the Philippine company just makes these masks and then that's all you do?
Actually, there are so many brand type available that
Yeah.
we're producing.
Yeah.
This is just one,
Okay.
and we call this one nasal mask. We also have the alternative mask, which is the OptiLife,
Okay.
and pillows actually.
Okay.
And we also have the full face mask. And we are producing 100% to our parent company.
Okay.
And mostly it's the US that are,
Is business good?
oh yeah, business is good. And
Good news for us.
in terms of ratio, we still have around 90% sales in the US, and then 10% Europe, and then the others, small percentage within Asia.
Okay. Now hold that thought about Asian markets. Let's go to Norman. Norman, what do you do? What is your company about?
Right, my company is Automation and Systems Resources. It's a company that was founded by my father back in 1990, and we basically are in trading, also in project consultancy. We put up manufacturing plants such as those that require pneumatic conveying systems. We also have packaging systems. We also sell packaging systems. We design systems that use packaging.
Packaging for what?
Anything. It could be for your simple candy, the wrapper, how it's twisted around.
Okay.
It could be the way that your chocolate bar is wrapped. It could be the way that maybe cigarettes are packed into.
Or soap in a box.
Soap in a box.
In a bottle.
Or juices in a box, or even shipping cartons going into a warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And you supply the machines, and you make the let's say the schematic or the design for
that's right.
these factories.
Yes. We do the design for approval from the client, and then from that point we start ball rolling. From so we have the design, we have the equipment, we have the after sales service and all that.
Yeah. So whereas Lyndon, your company, you actually make a product.
Right.
Norman's company is the one that helps companies make these products, specifically packaging. Okay. Now, let's talk about the Production and Operations Management Association of the Philippines, or ProMap for short. What is ProMap?
ProMap is an organization founded in 1977. So it's been operating since already for 35 years. So it was founded by around 11 production and operations practitioners. During that time, they observed that there was no organization or venue for them to share best practices, for them to learn from each other. Of course, in a manufacturing setup, there are only 3 components, basically, that you have to monitor at any given time. That's quality, the cost, and of course your delivery. And from there, during that time, perhaps they seem to have no one to approach.
Turn to.
You have to turn to in order for them to raise any problems that they face during their respective manufacturing operations.
Raise problems to whom?
Right.
Who? To the government?
During that time, there was none.
But now, because when you said what you do in ProMap is basically it is an avenue or a channel for manufacturers to exchange ideas, experiences, to improve their operations. But do you guys also operate as a lobby group for let's say government policy, to influence government policy, or perhaps get government support, or raise concerns with the government? Is this what ProMap does as well?
Yeah, I think ProMap. Norman here can answer that very well.
Well, it's a nice thing that you're telling me that I'm ProMap, because my father was one of the founders of ProMap back in 1977. So he was president twice, and I was president in 2004. So it's kind of a nepotism thing with us right now.
It looks like musical chairs.
Musical
now
chairs.
Lyndon is president, and you're executive vice president.
Lyndon also didn't mention that his immediate boss was a president of ProMap. And
well, it is actually a small group, really.
It is.
Manufacturing. I mean, how many companies, how many manufacturers really do we have in the Philippines? I mean, are there a lot?
Well, there are. If you talk about the total of it, yes, there is. But those who are really significantly contributing to the economy, just a few. You can already count them in the fingers of your hand. You were asking about what ProMap.
Yes, aside from the exchange of, the networking among manufacturers, do you have any interface with the government? Because obviously in your sector, government help, government support, policy, and all that is very, very important.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. Back in the late 90s, we were part of the National Competitiveness Council. We started out with we were there with the invitation of President Ramos to help with the competitiveness in the Philippines. Now,
Philippines 2000.
Philippines 2000, that's correct. And then the NCC at that time only had a lifespan of 5 years, so around 2003, 2004, it died a natural death. And it was just recently revived right now, about 2010. Again, there was another NCC headed by Ambassador Bautista, Cesar Bautista.
Okay.
Basically, ProMap tries to impress upon the government the importance of manufacturing, We believe that manufacturing is the backbone of any economy. It can support large-scale employment. It can supply goods to its local population. If it's too much for the population, we can export, and we earn money from that.
Yes, yeah.
Importation of equipment to produce these goods and export bring revenue to the government through customs and duties. Because of continuous importation, continuous development here in the Philippines, in any country, of course, research and development will follow. Innovation will follow afterwards. So you've got inventions, new inventions coming in, new developments. So
it's really tied up, no? It's
it is tied up.
R&D, importation, and also it also spawns. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, manufacturing also spawns other commercial activities.
That's right.
Like and also other opportunities for people to get involved in the manufacturing chain.
Right.
That's what we call a supply chain. So because the chain supplies the one after the other. So everything's connected. Everything's connected.
And it's a shame because, as I mentioned in my opening spiel, a lot of people often overlook manufacturing, and people now pay a lot of attention, or give a lot of priority to BPOs. And what people don't understand with BPOs, business process outsourcing, is that fine, it's good. I mean, it's good if a lot of come to the Philippines, but they're plug and play. They can set up, but they can also leave pretty quickly, right?
Yes.
Is it the same case for manufacturing?
I don't think so, because if a manufacturing is set up here, of course they will have that structure, which is their building, right? And of course, dismantling a building or just leaving it there is not that easy, unlike the BPOs. And one thing about having the manufacturing here is, of course, just like what you said earlier, the specific example is Toyota, right?
Okay.
Or any car manufacturing plant. It's not only the Toyota plant or the manufacturing or assembly plant that is there. There are so many support companies, right? That's why if you have only 1 hectare actually for the assembly plant, that means that maybe you have to allot another 10 hectares for the other support companies to that assembly plant. And imagine we're just talking about the main manufacturing firm, which is, for example, Toyota or any other car manufacturing plants. But considering how many components there are in a vehicle, right? So imagine how many companies can support that, and how many employees can be employed in that setup. So now, leaving the plant is not that easy, and of course, it will take time. It has to have a transition. So from there, it will give the company and also the employees on how to transition such that the impact will not be that great.
Yes, and also training. I mean, you mentioned infrastructure, you put a building, like a construction yard or whatever, but also human resource. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but before you can set up a good manufacturing facility, you also have to invest a lot in human resource, training your people, and that takes time. It's not overnight.
Sure. Right. And that's good about manufacturing. The technology that those companies can bring in, that's good for us, right? So that our competency will be increased, our value-adding, there's a value-adding activity once we have learned all of those. And from there, perhaps we can make entrepreneurs out of them in the future, right?
And I think we need more entrepreneurs, less employees.
True.
Right.
I agree.
Gents, hold that thought because we have to pause for a break. So guys, don't go away because we'll be back with more of Manufacturing Trends when Philippines Uncut returns.